Welcome back to the Ascot Blake Business and Life podcast. Today I'm delighted to welcome on Simon from Solution Recruitment. He's had an incredible story, 20 years this January. Solution Recruitment's been running a construction, rail and infrastructure recruitment business. Absolutely delighted to have you on today. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure, as always. Thank you.
Good. So first of all, I want to take you back right to the start of your journey.
Yep.
Did you always know that you wanted to run your own business?
I think it was more of a realisation, actually. If I take out to school, I was much of a must-try harder student, naturally gifted at most sports, including football. So it was either the next Steve Cram or hopefully be the next Glenn Hoddle. Obviously, I failed at both of those. So obviously I had to decide what I was going to do with my life, and managed to get a job at the airport, actually working for FedEx,
right,
doing imports and exports, which gave me a good grounding. Came through the apprenticeship route, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But as I got older, the sort of need for better clothes, designer clothes, realisation that I needed to earn sort of more money, and I think my personality and character sort of took me into desire to do sales. So I was looking at doing sales within sort of FedEx, had an interview internally, and it just wasn't 100% right for me, to be fair. It was more of a road sales environment, and it wasn't until I went to KP in Stortford.
Okay.
I think it's Paula, actually.
Yeah, I remember.
Paula.
Yeah.
And I just said, look, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to earn more money, but I don't know what markets to target in. And she said, look, have you applied for any jobs? And I said, well, yeah, I've applied for about 1 million in London doing like corporate banking. Obviously not got any qualifications, but I just thought, like, that's where the money is. I'll go where the money is.
Yeah.
Obviously got the reject on at every level. I spent 10 minutes with Paula, and she just turned around to me, she went, why don't you do what I'm doing? And I just said, what do you mean? So she's got a colleague in, and they both sat with me, and they went, why don't you do recruitment? So I said, what do you mean? She said, well, you've got naturally strong with, your personality, character.
Yeah.
You come across well, and that's what it's about. She explained how the money was earned, and then they sort of sent me off to my old employers, which was obviously Henry Recruitment in Stansted.
Yeah.
I'd been at FedEx for quite a few years, so in terms of the money I earned, I've sort of bumped up my salary. The benefits were pretty good to a point. Anyway, I had an interview with the MD there, and it was upon when I walked up the drive. It was in Chapel Hill in Stansted.
Yeah, okay.
And I saw, I think it was a top of the range Jag and a Porsche. I looked at that and I thought, oh my God.
People are doing all right here.
I fancy some of this. They're doing well. I've never been a jealous person. I always aspire to people. I like people who take risks, fair play to all of them. And I could see these guys had done well. The guys had come out of London. He took a risk himself to sort of set it up. And he sort of threw me at the deep end. Had to take a pay cut, which was a risk from my point of view. But if I could see the potential to get a car like they had, then I was willing to do it. And I did it. And I was there for like 7 years. I just worked my way through to the top, basically. Late nights, early mornings, meeting clients. And it got to a point where I think there wasn't much more he could offer me other than sort of shares within the business, to be fair. I think the realisation was the amount of good people we had in that business at the time who had sort of started to sort of leave.
Right.
And there was a couple of us in the business who were doing very well, were earning the money. It was getting a little bit diluted in terms of how he was potentially sort of trying to get us to do more, possibly for less return. And I looked at it and I evaluated it, and I thought, you know what? I've got some really good clients who are coming to me. Yeah. As much as I'm working under the umbrella, they're coming to me. I've learned a lot since I've been in the business, good and bad. And there was a couple of us in there who sort of felt the same. And it was from there I thought, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
So we took the plunge. Took the risk, so to speak, which obviously I was willing to do, and I've not really looked back since then. There was 4 of us at the time had worked at our old company. Chris had obviously gone into sort of London, but we just felt that with the 4 of us, the 4 cornerstones of the business, different sales streams, if you like, when the market has slightly different demands, and that's what we did.
And there was 3 from that business and 1 from another business.
Yeah. We'd all worked together over a period of time, and then we had restricted covenants, as you can appreciate, and obviously we had to respect.
Yeah.
Which we did. So it was a little bit stagnant in terms of when people were starting and all getting, but it was back bedroom stuff.
Yeah.
It was
started at home.
Yeah, low overheads, and we just flew. made money from sort of day dot, to be honest with you. And then, we sort of went from strength to strength, and it happened quite quickly.
I mean, taking the risk of starting your own business, like you mentioned, people taking risks. Like I went into business on my own, and you went into with 4 people. Did that kind of like? Did it feel like it limited the risk a little bit? Like
100%. 100%. I mean, we are salespeople first and foremost, and we still are to a point. To a point. And I think we were just needed to have that sort of support around us, that if one of us is down, the other one's up. And it just gave us, as I said, 4 sales work streams, times it by 4. If we're all doing a couple $100,000, we've just, we've got money that we can either reinvest or, from a personal point of view, it takes us to the next level.
Obviously, starting with 4 of you, how soon was it before you were sort of hiring people?
Yeah, so if I look at the timing, it was 2006. So 2006 in the construction industry, there was a lot of breakaway companies, as in our clients were sort of, not saying dismantling, but it was the market was so buoyant. It was flying. There was a number of like senior directors who were leaving big tier 1 contractors and sort of setting up. So the timing for us was like unbelievable. We were just getting fed so much work, and we had those relationships. We had that exclusivity. PSLs weren't so tight then. It was the classic on the phone, built the trust, you've earned the relationship, I'm going to give you the opportunity. And you would get some form of exclusivity. It wouldn't be, we're going to 10 agencies, here's a job, see how you crack on. We had them from a period of time, and we were delivering on them. We literally were in Chris's room for just under a year, and I think we're just generating so much sales. We knew that we could probably take this business to the next level. We didn't really, in terms of the business plan, it was a little bit of an open book, to be fair, because we didn't know how well we were actually going to do. So we acquired a small office space, which was in the Maltings in Silversworth. Took on a couple of people, again, sort of known to us, people that we'd sort of recruited at sort of previous business. And then we outgrew that office space as well. And we moved to an old recording studios in Epping. And this was just before, it's about 2007. So from 2006 to 2007, we got the business up to 16 people.
Really?
In Epping.
Yeah.
Our view on Epping was that our old company was based in Bishops Stortford. So we thought, look, let's operate a different patch. Respect, obviously, the old patch, so to speak. And we thought, we'd go and look to recruit people on coming down the Central Line, who may not want to go into London, who may just want to be working sort of closer. And then, unfortunately, the recession.
The recession. 2007, the credit.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think we had some significant money in the bank. Overheads were generally quite low. And the beauty of it, we were 4 directors, all hands sales. All hands on. We're all pumping into the business. Started to payroll our own freelancers at the time. So we had to make the unfortunate decisions to sort of cut some people, because the reality was then, unfortunately, the market wasn't there.
I guess with sales, it's easier to do that, isn't it? Because if someone's performing, not performing, or dealing with it or not. Oh,
massively. And the thing, we were making BD clients, and all we were getting back is our client CVs. So we had a pile of CVs and we couldn't really do anything about it. So we were checking into work, coming into Epping, and pretty much sort of checking out, because unless someone called you, we didn't really need it. And we go to the George and Dragon down the road, have a couple of beers, and then we had the company phone. If someone phoned, it's for you, you better go back. And someone would go back, fill a job, and then come back. That's what we're doing. And we managed to sort of get through it. And the thing is, with the construction industry, it's so volatile to everything that goes on in the economy. And since then, that was, for us, you did feel like we were having our legs sort of chopped away, because we were just going So you
started the business in 2006. And you were flying. And then 1 year in, bang. Thankfully for us, we sort of still retained, a lot of the sort of cash that we'd tried to build.
Exactly right. It was very much sort of in interesting times. And I think we were all very clear that we wanted to build something, because looking back now, I'd look at it and go, we had that opportunity to take that money personally. If we look now where we've come, and the bumps in the road with what's been going on in the country, it's very volatile, the construction, as I said, and we've had to sort of navigate around so much, which in fairness has a personal impact, because you're trying to play the long game. but you're making sacrifices along the way. You're
Yeah.
kicking everything further and further down the road. But we were all clear. All four of us were clear that we wanted to get the business to a decent size and make it that respectable agency that we know it can be.
So during that credit crunch, what did you go back from? So you got to 16 people in a
to four
year,
of us, to four.
and you went back to four.
We weren't sort of cutthroat and just sort of chopped everyone, but we just gave everyone a bit of an opportunity. We had some really good people.
Yeah.
Some really good people.
Just the market wasn't
different market then. I mean, it's very much the training model now is key for all businesses, but you've got so much airtime. And we could clone people. We were very sort of particular. We brought into the business, but you could introduce them to clients from day dot. That's how good they were. They all had a strong character, but what can you do? The market was taken away from us.
Yeah, there wasn't a business there to hold them.
No, and you know what? We just continued to, so it felt like tread water. Just managed to perform us. Did what we were good at doing. Went back to the reset model, which is get in the trenches and earn some money.
Yeah.
And we pushed our way
through it.
Yeah.
It's interesting because so you mentioned sacrifices.
Yeah.
And I think people will be interested to hear, there'll be a lot of people out there thinking of starting their own business. Yeah. Maybe they're in this line of work, they're sales consultants, they're thinking of doing it themselves. Maybe they're in a different line of work, they're thinking of doing it themselves. What were them sacrifices in the first year? Obviously you started billing well, so maybe they weren't huge, but on day one, what sacrifices were you prepared to make?
We all remortgaged the houses. Yeah, there's three of us who had kids at various times, but there's 9 children between three of us. We've all got like mortgages, so that was a risk in itself. And there's no guarantees it's going to work. And I think the realization from day one, and the advice I give to anybody who's thinking about setting their own business up is, the glory part of thinking of running a business is just the benefits that potentially could come from it, and the revenue streams that could potentially come. But you sacrifice a lot of time not doing the job that you're very good at doing. It's the back office stuff. It's the IT issues that you have. It's the supply chain issues that you may have, right? And you can't get full focus on just running a sales desk. There's a lot to take consideration. And you don't always get paid for the work that you actually do. I know that's natural to sales, but you do a lot of other stuff that's taken for granted, or is not actually even considered. I think at sort of running a business. Yeah. So back to your original question, in light of all that, I think setting the business up with the 4 of us, it allowed us. We had 4 people who were very good at servicing the business from a sales point of view, but we could support each other. For other parts of for the business.
And how did you cover off them between you, all them sort of other functions you're talking about? In a perm-led recruitment business, it's probably not as important, but in a contract-led business, you've got the contractor payroll and all them bits to think about.
Yeah, we were quite regimented actually.
HR, employment.
We were very regimented early days. We took it really seriously. Yeah. We had board meetings once a month, had minutes, everything. Yeah. So it wasn't just a freestyle.
No,
it wasn't at all. We did everything regimented.
Yeah.
Everything's considered. Look, for sure, we had certain people who were better at back office than others, and certain people were better at PSL documents and all the time-consuming sort of stuff you needed to do. But we discussed the responsibility and shared it out accordingly. And do you know what? We would sometimes be in the office at 7 a.m. and sometimes be in the office still at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah, no.
We would done all the tender documents ourselves and stuff like that,
And that impacts your personal life, doesn't it?
Massively. And that's the input it needed, though, because I think every business has got its own personality, and we really wanted to, everything we did, it needed to have all 4 of input, and we had to create its own sort of personality, and we all bought into that.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so I think time got on. It got obviously naturally harder with the personal demands, but we were very committed.
Yeah, no, I think that's bits that people don't see. People can see running a business and being your own boss as sort of the glory days or whatever, but like actually it's them late nights that people don't see. It's everything leading up to it to be able to achieve a certain lifestyle. Yeah, there's huge amounts of work involved.
Yeah. I think looking at it still now, I think I go in the office still early, 6 o'clock in the morning, but I want to get in there, get a head start before the working world starts. Yeah. Get ahead of the potentially the competition and stuff like that. And if there is something to do, you need to do it out of, whereas the old core sales time is you need to be doing sales. Right?
Yeah.
So.
And how did that impact your own personal life? Did you like have a good support at home that enabled you to do that?
I think we all did, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying at the time we all did. Fair play to all the girls. They gave us all the support. We had very much a tight network, sort of personally and professionally.
Yeah.
We did have blowouts, but we tried to do it together. Do it with the girls. We'd have, evenings, meals, whatever. Just got them involved, but everyone was very close. Everyone knew what we were doing was for the greater good of the business and for potentially their sort of personal lives.
Yeah, it took the pressure off at home to enable you to go and run at it.
Massively. And it's all about sort of communication and stuff. So everyone was together for sure.
Yeah.
Both in the office and at home.
Okay. 2 years in, you've already been through a roller coaster, like welcome to recruitment type running a recruitment business. You say construction is impacted by the economy, but recruitment's usually the first indicator of things
massively
going well or badly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're 2 years in, you've already sort of navigated through the recession.
Yeah.
And then does it start picking up again from there?
You do see a natural spike, but then someone to come out with a word called Brexit. We decided that we're going to Brexit. That had a little bit. It's very sensitive because what it's like from your experience. The human race is the most unreliable commodity you're ever going to try and sell, right?
Yeah.
And I think we are quite a negative country. We can talk ourselves into so much. That's been proven. So I just think trying to get people to consider sort of changing employment, certainly in construction where it's limited candidate sort of resource, just doesn't help. Do you know what I mean? And it just seems that after the recession we had a spike, and then there's something else sort of thrown in.
Yeah.
And it seems to have continued. But fair play to the industry, it's been very resilient. It's one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And I think we became well established.
Yeah.
We learned so much during the recession. Our branding was on point. Our relationships were on point. A number of agencies sort of sat on their hands and didn't do a great deal.
No, yeah.
We sort of put our head above the parapet, and our branding was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And that has enabled us. We made the business, I would say, properly in that recession,
period.
believe it or not.
Yeah, because you carried on doing.
We carried on doing what we were good at doing. It was back to the four of us. We had limited sort of distractions from other staff, and we just really locked in those relationships. And to be honest with you, that's what's continued.
Yeah.
That's what's continued. Whatever's been thrown at the country, been thrown at the industry, our long-term relationships have stood by us and pulled us.
Them core relationships.
Exactly. And to this day, they still do, which is unbelievable because we're not a massive agency. We will say it, but we punch massively above our weight. But it's those relationships.
In terms of the client base.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it continues to feed. So not really phased.
No, yeah.
Not really phased.
So then after that 2 year and Brexit and what have you, when did you move from Epping to Bishops Stortford?
Well, we started picking up again, and we sort of evaluated it, looked at it. The world was a better place. And I think the realisation of trying to recruit people in Epping, it's quite an affluent area, right? And they're living in Epping for a reason, and they don't really have to consider working in Epping because they're going to save a bit of money on the rail card on the Central Line.
Yeah.
They're going into London because
there's higher salaries.
Yeah, exactly. It's the bars,
Yeah.
So that we learn. You always learn a lot in different situations when the market sort of turns. And I think, the first sort of 2, 3 years, 4 years is we looked at how much we'd earned and what potentially securities we've actually got, right? And we've done what we needed to do, right? We navigated through these hard times. And it was a case of like, can we get an asset? Could we get an office that we could buy? Right? We invested some money into that office in Epping, that which we're never going to receive the return of. And I think when we were travelling over to Epping, when the market was down, we were all sort of thinking like, if we could get something closer to home. Time had sort of passed with our old company. We were all contacted with a lot of the guys that I'd taken on anyway previously, and they're all contacting us because it was hard for them as just as much as for us.
You guys, yeah.
And I suspect they were working for someone else and their commissions have been sort of cut, and So the communication was there, and we just said to ourselves, look, can we get a property in Stortford or work closer to home? An opportunity came up in Bishops Stortford for a property we were made aware of. We were in a very strong position. I think we were probably one of the fastest growing businesses, certainly in Bishops Stortford, definitely in the local area. Like the banks were all over us because they just wanted to lend us money. Yeah, exactly. And we didn't realise, honestly, we were so naive. Right? Yeah. We're just salespeople trying to earn some money, put it in the bank. Yeah. What are we going to do with it? Right. Yeah. And that's what it was. And then we managed to get an in Stortford, and then I won't say the floodgates open, but it was pretty much over the road. People I'd taken on over the road were coming over the road to say, have you got any jobs? Yeah. So, yeah, with the business, all of a sudden we were getting back to where we were. People were coming over, and the old MD, and fair play to him, he'd made a lot of money. He made a lot of successful people, me included, and a couple of guys who worked for us. So I said, look, I've made my money. You take a few of the guys, and do you want to buy the sort of contract book?
Right. Okay. So it came to acquire your full circle.
Yeah, exactly. So effectively, I helped sort of grow the business that my old company left. Yeah. I've done the full circle, really. And it's like anything. You want tried and trusted people around you.
And you thought acquiring that was like a good step forward.
Well, yeah, because I think it just gave us that little bit of diversity. I looked at how well we were doing. Yeah, how well we were doing, and then I thought, oh, he can add value.
The team there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The old MD said, look, credit, you've done really, really well. Want to try and merge the businesses, you can acquire obviously the contract book which we took on, and that was just like a space rocket.
And how big was the business you bought compared to what you were? Well,
it's just from sort of turnover sort of point of view, we were probably 5 million maybe turnover
pre-acquisition.
Yeah, and then 14 million straight, like literally within 20.
So the business you bought was bigger than the business you had.
Yeah, it's the contract book. Yeah, the contract book, and we were taking on people, but their contract books were still with at their old employer.
Yeah. How did you find that acquisition process? Like from a actual sort of merger and acquisition perspective before it was done, leading up to it, negotiating the price, speaking to the staff, like there must have been a fear, like I actually remember the business. I think I looked at it myself, funnily enough. But like I think there wasn't huge numbers of staff there.
No.
So there was always a flight risk or a nervousness of, well, am I going to buy this? This person going to go, and all the contractors go with them. Yeah. Like, what sort of due diligence did you do to make sure you wanted to buy that?
Well, fair play to, I would say, Chris, to be honest with you. So this goes back to the four. It wasn't a job for all four of us to come up with the business, our business as it seems, separating the business required. It was so busy. We were, three of us needed to sort of focus on what we were doing, but Chris, in fairness, he engaged with old MD, sort of solicitors and stuff. And to be honest with you, what was left was purely the contract book, and we had the consultant had already come over. So it was like Christmas Day when I got the contract book.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it was a case of like, do you want any of the other current stuff? So I remember walking over the road back into my old office, and it was like a beauty parade.
Yeah.
Literally, hello, how are you? Yeah.
You can come. You can come.
It literally was.
Yeah.
It was. But to be fair, I knew most of them anyway.
Yeah.
So it didn't take long, but honestly, it was like a rocket. How just like literally overnight.
So you got the deal done, which must have been an experience in itself. How did you fund the deal? Was there any banking debt involved? I think that's interesting for people.
No, we didn't do it. We just did it.
So out of the business funds that you had?
Yeah. We just paid off sort of monthly, I think it was.
Oh, right. Okay. So you had a deferred consideration.
Exactly right.
Okay. Yeah. Was there a percentage up front and then the rest? Or was it just
done
even payments?
Yeah, even payments over a period of time. I think that was over 12 months. I think it was, if my mind serves me correctly.
Fine.
Yeah,
okay.
It was pretty seamless to be fair.
Okay, so post the deal and, obviously there was a relationship there and, deferred consideration doesn't always work like that. But post that deal, how did you find merging the two businesses together? Like, you've obviously started your business with your three business partners, and you've probably left some of the stuff you didn't like behind. You've probably brought your own personality to the business, your own culture.
Yeah, I think we realised quite quickly that this was sort of real time now. We're sort of trading in massive numbers. It wasn't like having a few $100,000 in the business that we made off the back of collective perm deals. We're all strapped to PGs on our mortgages and our houses, and it was sort of real time.
Okay.
And all of a sudden it's like, well, you know, you're not just a sales consultant now, you've got directors' responsibilities.
So obviously you've brought a load more contractors on.
Yeah.
Did you keep your existing invoice discounting provider for people out there, and people that lend you the money?
Yeah,
the
at the time, I mean, we'll probably come on to it later, but we used the same sort of supply chain since day dot. And it was still with.
And you mentioned personal guarantees. Were they increased? When you okay?
Yeah, but again, you're a little bit naive because you're looking at what's potentially coming your way, and the old saying, it's never a problem until there's
you're not looking at the other stuff.
Till there's a problem, right?
So you got to this point, you were flying.
Yeah.
You know, how did your guys' initial roles, which were all on desks, all making money?
Yeah.
Did that start to change at some point? Did someone, like, you get to a point of scale where you need someone to be the person that does the back office, the person that runs the business?
Yeah, we did have, even though we were running desks, we did have sort of slightly split roles where, a few of us were potentially responsible for, Chris could be doing a bit more sort of back office stuff, more sort of the supply chain. And then we have divisional responsibilities because we were sector led, as in, I was construction, Phil was M&E, contracting. We were building teams, our own teams. So we had our own, that's how we were sort of growing. But then we branched out into, we've got civils, and we started getting a bit stretched, to be honest with you. So we looked at sort of the communication lines of sort of management, and we had to real sort of think about that. And off the back of that, because I think we were on the crest of a wave and the market was sort of taking us to, some very exciting places, we decided to open a London office. Yeah. This was in 2010. Yeah. We opened a London office in 2010. Jason was based in London, and I went up to support him. So we had to be open a city office. So I was in London as much as I possibly could. Jason was in London, and, Chris and Phil were, in Stortford. We were getting stretched.
And you being in different locations and stuff, did that start to change the dynamics at all in terms of, some of you doing sales?
Yeah, I think between the four of us, it started to.
Yeah.
It definitely started to, because there wasn't anyone really from an individual sort of managing the company. Yeah. Yeah. And our key strengths were sales. Yeah. I looked at, upon reflection now, and I'm pretty sure all the guys would agree that we should have gone non-exec then. Instead of sort of leaning on sort of internal sort of personal relationships and stuff, and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, we've done unbelievably well, but that sort of transition between 5 to 14 million and then going into London, I think we probably could have just leaned on some
other outside opinions. Yeah,
we could have, and we were all looking to scale it as well.
Yeah,
we all believed that we had the same
intention.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it sort of became like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're stretched. All of us are stretched.
Yeah. And that started building some resentment.
Well, naturally, because I just think there's only like, what are you doing? Like, you had sales here, responsibilities here. You had, PSL returns needed over there. Yeah. And we had recruitment consultants, right? We had our next tier was the consultants.
Yeah. They're looking for answers and...
Exactly.
At that point, if you look back, because I think this is a question I asked everyone.
Yeah.
Like, so that's 2006 to what, 2014, 15, 16, 10 years in, 11 years in. Yeah. Like, what would you change of what you did in them first 10 years to make it go quicker? What mistakes did you learn early? Whether it be staff, anything, what mistakes did you...
I just think we never really had a realisation how well we were going to do, to be honest with you. Right. It could have been back bedroom stuff, right? Identity. What are you? Are you,
Yeah.
is it a personal life business, or is it
Yeah.
you trying to scale it? It was a bit of both, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of both, because we didn't go, right, let's personally sort ourselves out for the first few years and then grow it.
No.
We were trying to do a bit of both.
Yeah.
And I think we should have been more clear and defined in that, and 100% reaching out, non-exec,
Yeah.
scale business advice. It would have freed us up massively.
How did you keep your team motivated better than what you'd been motivated, I guess?
Our relationship with our staff is, some of us had better relationships with than others, for sure. They could see what we were trying to do. It was a totally different environment to our previous company. We were still trying to maintain that sort of professional, element. We were very open and transparent in terms of what we were looking to do. We voiced, we appreciate people's opinions. We encourage people to sort of step up. We formulated structure within the business so they can see where they needed to go. We did everything we possibly could for people to sort of
feel part of it,
to feel part of it, and we still do to this day. To be honest with you, and a lot of those guys, let's be honest, those are guys who have been known to us for, in some cases, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And they've been very loyal, but we've lost some good people along the way as well. We obviously the change in, I'm sure we'll come on to it, but obviously COVID had an impact on the business as
Let's
well.
fast forward to COVID.
Yeah.
Like you've grown this great business. You've got like unbelievable clients and staff, and
it was totally weird because going back to what I said, unfazed. This was in 2019, coming off the back. So we come off the back in 2019. I was working in London. Jason had just left the business, so I was in London quite a lot more, understandably. We had a record breaking back end of the year, like literally coming out 2019. It was unbelievable. I remember going up there. I saw like the sales board with the figures, and then we come back after Christmas and we did it again. Literally, we absolutely smashed it. Let's be honest, the office in London was growing off the back of Bishops Stortford.
Yeah, the clients, the relationships.
So we made that sacrifice again.
Yeah.
And that investment takes a lot for it to pull through the other way and profits. We invested a lot in our staff. So it started to pull through. Anyway, fast track, I don't know, couple of weeks in March, I suppose, and literally I must have been the last person to go out the building. It was like a horror movie. The light was sort of flickering, and people had their cereal bowls on there because I literally said, "You're gonna have to go home," because Boris had come on and said, everyone needs to sort of go home. And literally, it was honestly so surreal. People had like their bags and rucksack. Some people are even in the pub. Had gone home straight from the pub, so they were prepared to come in the next day, diaries, pens and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember walking out the building and I sort of said goodbye to the security. I didn't know if we were coming back next week.
Yeah.
Next month.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. But then we just had these 6 months and I was totally unfazed. I thought, do you know what, we're gonna smash this.
Yeah.
Obviously one thing led to the other. Now
how quickly did you see that impact on your like revenues, business?
Well, we'll come on to that, but I think what the realisation is when these guys came to work in London, it was obviously to work for us, but it was everything that come with working for London, the vibe and everything. So for them to be told
you're
working from home, honestly, it was like meltdown. I had early guys in their 20s who just loved being in London, loved being having a beer, loved just the whole thing, the whole vibe. Yeah, it quickly. It became, I'm not saying panic stations, but obviously we were speaking to you at the time.
Yeah.
We've got a big freelance book.
Yeah.
Very successful sort of freelance book that needed underpinning.
Yeah.
And we needed to lean on our friends for a COVID loan.
Yeah. Yeah. You took on debt to get through it.
Well, we needed to. And the thing is, we still had all the contractors at the time.
Did perm switch off overnight? Out of interest, obviously,
Well,
you did any perm deals.
yeah. I mean, it's obviously massively new to us, right? This again, we learned so much, and upon reflection, you look back and think, what would I've done differently and stuff like that. That's all in hindsight, right? But we were still nicking bits along the way, but we had a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah,
We've just grown this business. I think I'm not 100% sure what headcount we would have been, but it would have been certainly high 20s,
Yeah.
possibly into 30s
Yeah.
at that time, right?
yeah,
And I wanted to retain all of them.
mm.
We spent all this time
Yeah,
to get it to where it needed to be. Some hard decisions had been made, but we was pulling through, and we were starting to make money. So we were all like,
you didn't want to let that
we
go.
didn't want to let that go because we were gonna carry on.
So you took the debt on to keep people.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, do you think you kind of got the cost out a bit too slowly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the recession was totally different. It seemed like you didn't have the option. It was with COVID, it was.
You didn't know if it was temporary, but
we didn't know.
Yeah.
Weirdly, we had one contractor who was aggressively trying to grow.
Right. Yeah.
So we were nicking fees along the way. Contract book, it took a little bit of a slap, but we were still in a good position.
It was almost like a slow.
Exactly, and then it was a case of just managing that loan.
Mm. Yeah. So coming out the back of COVID.
Yeah.
Market's picking up again.
Yeah.
But you've suddenly acquired all this debt that's like the noose around the business.
Yeah.
I know from being around that you obviously tried to trade out of for a period of time.
Yeah.
Like how did that feel? Because that must have had an impact on not only running the business, but personally as well.
Big time. You just wanted a break. You just wanted someone to give us our market back.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted. You just, it felt like someone pressed the switch. You just wanted to turn the switch the other way.
Yeah.
And you didn't realise that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're making decisions, just thinking it's all right. We're going to be all right.
But it's interesting when it comes out the other end, and I know it didn't come back on for construction quite like that, but as it started to come on and people start to perform, and they're doing well, I imagine. You're fronting a business, but behind the scenes, you're like, this classic sort of swan underwater looks serene on top. Yeah. Revenues are great, but underwater, you're servicing all this debt.
Yeah.
And people in the business probably don't realise that.
No.
They're thinking, where are ours?
Exactly.
Incentive trip, where's this, where's that?
To look after those people, We were making decisions. They were in our hand. We were making decisions that affected their lives. Yeah. And then from that point then, I think the realisation between what the three of us was left was like, the decisions we were making now. Yeah. What did it mean to us personally? Yeah. We had the risk, as you always do run a business, we had the debt. Yeah.
And you had personal guarantees.
We had personal guarantees.
On a lot of the other debt,
exactly.
not the mortgage debt.
From obviously when we've seen you, it's just a case of, we need to hit these numbers. And that's what it was. I always use that analogy. It was like chucking coal on a fire. You just needed more flames.
Yeah.
And that's what we were doing, just more and more. And do you know what? Fair play to all of them.
Yeah.
Because they're so resilient.
Yeah.
And credit to every single one of them. That's what they did.
And you did for a couple of years after COVID. You did service that debt. Yeah. Got it right down.
Yeah.
You were, but obviously there became a point where the market wasn't coming back enough.
Yeah.
And that debt was getting harder and harder to service.
Yeah. I think we got to a point where we got the debt down. Look, let's be brutally honest. You're managing cash flow of a contract book, which is running it between, 100, 150 people, fluctuates, £1 million, 250 grand a week going out of the business. You're trying to service, everyone's payday, commission, bonuses, which they were at the time. So it was a lot. The realisation for us three was looking at the time served. So that would have been, we would have 15 years.
Yeah.
Going back to what I was saying about the beginning of the business, either getting yourself sorted first or playing the long game.
Yeah. Would you have done something different with that?
I definitely would have probably just
de-risked it a little bit at the beginning?
Yeah, de-risked it. Well, look, just, get yourself in a position that if you take a risk that you're just protected by.
You've had some of the benefits before you go.
Exactly right. And I think you speak to the other three, they would 1,000,000%
Agree.
Agree. So we had an option that I think we had a minimal amount on our COVID loan at the time, and we had a small mortgage left on one of our properties. So we took some advice, because I think we decided that if we're going to go again, the market's going to go again, we don't want to be in the same position. So why not put one of the properties in our pension?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Put that in our pension. I think we took professional advice on that, and it would actually improve the business's financial status, because it would have put cash back into the business
And de-risked
it, probably to the tune, between all our mortgages, weren't significant, but I don't know, 300-400 grand, something like that. Obviously, we had all of our business interests with the same bank.
Yeah.
Again, don't know there's going to be a problem to a problem. You think they'll just support you because they've got we've got so many assets. So we put the property. We're looking to put the property into our pensions, and we've spoken to our advisors, the bank, and we just said, look, do you see any issues with what we're doing? No problem at all. And we've got numerous emails and correspondence to say that's not a problem. So yeah, we pressed ahead to put that
to do it.
Knock-on effects of that is, naturally, you've got your own supply chain, you've got tax liabilities that needed paying. So once it all comes back the other way, boom, we're in a much better position.
Yeah, you've cleared the deck.
Cleared it. We've now, the money we've lost during COVID, albeit we've now personally put it in. We've got a personal asset, long-term pension, lean back, great.
Yeah.
All worth it.
Yeah.
Now we're in a situation on the 11th hour, 59th minute and 50th second.
Yeah.
Lloyd's
pulled the plug.
Lloyd's come in and said, you've got cross guarantees on your property. You can't do it. Obviously, the money we had, which was left of the COVID loan, we paid off of the mortgage.
Yeah.
So that money's gone.
The business is now
so
our
cash flow
Yeah.
is in the property.
Yeah. Which you can't move.
So Lloyd's Bank realised they've made a significant
error.
It was turned on us to a point that we were trying to do something dodge.
Yeah.
Which was never the case.
No.
Never was. And they had our money.
Yeah.
They had our money, and we would continue trading. We had a freelance book still churning out, so the tax liabilities were starting to sort of grow, and that was really scary. That was really scary times.
Yeah, you got a PG, you're worried about it personally.
PG.
That's your future properties in the business, because prior to us, I'll add that you were advised to buy the property within the same legal entity.
Yeah.
But that's probably the realisation point, that the business is heading probably to a place where it can't service the debt anymore.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel like, and what were your instant thoughts like about your staff, your clients, your candidates?
It was horrible, because
everything you've worked for as well.
Yourself, we saw sort of, it was like bi-weekly at the time, but or weekly, depending. You were like still panic button, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Speed dial one, but the support that you had from like the back had gone.
Yeah.
It was gone. It was like we were sitting duck.
Yeah.
Because if they pulled it all back in, they're wrapping everything up, literally, and they just weren't there. They weren't there. Like, we were just going on trading as normal. It was like a facade, honestly. Behind the facade, it was a lot of panic, a lot of worry, and we had no one to talk to. And no one literally to lean on. It was a case of, and they didn't want to say anything, because I think the realisation they made a mistake. Our bank manager got removed. We were now dealing with some specialist department who were treating us now, because we've defaulted now.
Yeah.
Now we've defaulted. It's not how we got there.
Yeah.
It's we've defaulted.
Yeah.
Our tax liabilities now take us into
you got HMRC breathing down.
Exactly right. So now we've sort of been under the microscope, and never in a million years have we been there ever.
No.
Yeah.
And interestingly, like, I think for people listening, like, obviously you hear a lot of these success stories, and there was a huge success story to Solution Recruitment, but then, what you don't hear so much on podcasts or written books is like where things fail. Right. So I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this element of the story.
Yeah. It's honestly, because
there's a good story to come out the back of it again.
Well, exactly.
But during that period, you know, in the weeks and months, I guess, leading up to administration, how did that kind of play out, and how did that make you feel? What were the nerves around telling staff, clients, contractors? Because I mean, just to add to it, I guess, like, so the end of the story obviously is that you managed to buy the business back out of administration and go again, which was great, with you know the bank not losing any money, etc. But you did lose the property that you'd paid off and worked and bought, because that was within that, and obviously there was probably a lot of stress and heartache and everything going into it. What was sort of your thoughts at the time of what you needed to protect, what was possible, what wasn't possible?
It was so mixed emotions. I mean, without going too deep, there was a bit of a fallout between the three of us on a different personal level, which never helped. I was very much in the sort of trenches, just trying to just put the coal on
do more sales.
That's the only way we can do it.
Yeah.
We're a sales business, get more money, put it in, we'll get to
where you need
where we need to be. And then fair play to Chris. I mean, he obviously, with your support, he sort of took a bit of a lead on with the administrators, and he sort of engaged, and it was it was really touch and go, like where we were going to end up.
Yeah.
Where we were going to end up.
That uncertainty must
massively, you know, because I've got people who have given me everything, or given us everything, and the whole life. And we've got some really talented people, really talented people in the construction's very competitive, certainly in London. And we've got people who've got unbelievable relationships, and they're totally respected, and the business is respected as well. So you're looking at damage limitation at best. You know, we're talking to the, you know, administrators, and they're sort of saying, look, you're probably going to lose 40% of your business, which is your contract book. But obviously, I can't say anything to the staff.
No,
because that would just, everyone would start panicking.
Yeah.
So we had to make an announcement, because it happens.
That's quite a lot of burden to carry, right?
Oh, it's
like through that.
It was it was just it was sickening.
Yeah.
Because you just don't. You know the controllables.
Yeah.
You ain't got no control.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the hardest for me personally.
And your own family at home worrying. And
I don't mind dealing with anything or the hard calls to make. But it's when you know you've got to make them, you just want to bloody get them doing.
Yeah. And
there's a lead up period. There was not emails of night. We had to take little loans here and there just to support us and stuff. You're not getting good terms, right?
No.
You're not getting good terms. No. You're getting terms. You're like paying double, treble.
Yeah.
But that's what it took, because we knew that we just get this business on dry land.
You've got something to build.
We'll get going again. But obviously, had to announce like a meeting to the office,
to the staff,
to the staff, which obviously me and Chris led. Chris did really well, and we sort of told him, and you know, a few chins hit the drawer, the desk, but it was happening so quickly. It was seamless. That, to be fair, or they didn't need to do anything. They just need to carry on trading.
Yeah, and they saw that.
Company registration changes, you know, bit of branding and stuff. There's obviously constraints about what we can put on social media, what we can't be. We know we've gone from Solution Recruitment to Solution Search and stuff like that.
Were you worried about the optics from outside in terms of, I know you've got clients and stuff, but people perceiving failure?
Well, look, you look at certainly some of the PSLs we sign up to. You know, you have to disclose the financial position of the business, and if a business is deemed insolvent or whatever, you can be struck off from PSL.
Yeah,
and we're on some substantial PSLs who feed us a lot of work, especially with the freelance book. We had to approach every single client and
own it,
knock on their door effectively, and say, right, this is a situation. We're trading names. We're doing a bit of a, you know, and we just obviously had to dress it slightly differently, but.
And how what sort of reaction did you get from clients and staff?
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, we as I said, IP advised that be prepared to lose 40% of your business, and we didn't lose anything.
Yeah,
every single one come over.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Every single one. Look, we had to and fro overcut a bit of clarity, but we had to navigate around some little hurdles here and there.
That's probably testament to the relationship.
But that's credit. That's you know, credit to all the guys and the reputation that we've built over the years. So, but you just can't stop. It's like, even then, you can't stop to think about it. It is just like foot to the floor. We now need to recover back what we sort of lost. You know, and personally, You know, we're all lost personally.
Yeah.
You know, pension pots
Have been damaged because of it.
it got a big dent in the pension.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got the business is still intact.
Yeah.
You know, all the clients have showed their commitment to the business. And we got some very talented staff.
Yeah.
You know, so as they say, onwards and upwards, you know?
Yeah. Broadly, how much time of each day were you spending on that insolvency like procedure?
Chris took a significant lead in it because I was obviously more sales led, and I was sort of more visible within the office, which I think it needed to be. You know, when you're out the office, off the office space, the panics and stuff like that, and you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the last 5 years since COVID and stuff, and one of us needed to sort of be there. But yeah, look, we had calls at 7 in the morning. We had teams at 6 at night, and you know, we were talking out of hours till it was just
completely consuming.
Oh, unbelievable!
Yeah,
it's all going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
while the business is running normally.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. No one knew. No one to a point.
Yeah. Out the back of that, like you've got through it. Yeah, that's amazing. Like I know a lot of businesses don't get past that point. And so I really appreciate you coming on and talking about the more difficult times. Yeah. You obviously at this point now are a sole owner of Solution Recruitment. Like, where did, I guess, like to get from 4 to 1, your alignment must sort of misalign at some point where you want to get to. Yeah. Like that process must have been hard. And when did you kind of feel like you had different priorities, I guess?
I think pre-COVID, I would say, just looking back now, as I said, the business moves so fast, you don't always get time to evaluate every situation. You just got to get on and crack on. Yeah, things happen. You have little fallouts along the way. Yeah, we've been close. We've worked together. We've been mates. You know, I know the qualities that people bring. I know the weaknesses I've got. Yeah. I know that he can support me on certain stuff. Yeah. And we weren't getting younger. We've got personal challenges.
Well, life changes, doesn't it?
We're totally right. No, different from me. I mean, my kids were slightly older. Yeah. So a lot of the experiences I had, I could support the others. We do this. We're going to school. The old driving test, everything. Yeah. Brilliant. We shared everything together. Yeah. Magnificent, right? And then I think it's fair to say that never let your personal life come into the business, right? That's what we stood on. Yeah. Of all our staff, don't let anything come into the business. Yeah. We managed that brilliantly. Yeah. We never did. And unfortunately, at the top table, people's personal lives came into the business, and their outlook on the business changed, understandably in some cases. I get it. And the business wasn't getting the best value out of the people who are leading it. Yeah. And I think all the staff could see that. Yeah. And the leadership of the business for the last 5 years hasn't been good enough. No, it hasn't. And that all the staff have stayed loyal. All the staff can continue to do what they're asked to do. Sort of from the sales perspective. Look, we've made some decisions possibly where commissions shouldn't have been paid here and there, but we were doing that just to obviously keep people happy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We're probably making the wrong commercial decisions just to
keep a happy ship.
He's exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right. But it was the top table. Top table weren't good enough. No, it wasn't good enough. And I think that's what it was. And I think generally speaking, I think if, the other three, if we took a step back, nothing personal to anybody, but I'm pretty sure we'd all agree. Yeah. We'd all agree. And that was never the case. We were very close. I always said happy ending. We need a happy ending. Yeah. We're taking the risk. Let's get a happy ending. What does it look like? Where are we going to go? Yeah, let's all land on the beach together type thing. And that's what.
And the way it looked for each person started to change.
I think so. I think just have a different outlook on life. Some people, for me personally, and I didn't come off a desk. I still service clients.
So you were closer to the coalface there.
Exactly, and I think I was still driven about sort of earning money. And I think when we look at the business model coming out of COVID, the business needed money. And we are the biggest we were the biggest cost within the business, and we were asking us to, try and cover
You still wanted to be fed, but it needed feeding to be able to give it to you guys.
Oh, exactly right. Yeah, but if that model works, we're all in a better position. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, right? I know the business had other demands and needs, and some of them I weren't best placed to deal with. But people's sort of outlook on the business in terms of responsibilities was slightly different.
I know during that time as well, just to jump to a slightly different subject, you guys had a couple of bad debts as well, which is common in the construction industry. Like, since then, how do you think you've like sort of viewed credit risk and how you take on your new clients and stuff like that? Because I see a lot of businesses fail because they don't do this well.
A lot of changes.
Yeah.
I'm now sort of solely responsible for Solution.
Yeah.
Right. My strengths are making money. Right. But the most important part of the business is the engine room, which is obviously accounts and stuff. Right. So the communication piece between back and front now is great. Yeah. We've got a lot more support from our ID providers. We take obviously credit risks on all of our contractors. Yeah. We've got insurances. Yeah. Communication is paramount. Daily.
And your debt book's never really been cleaner, has it now?
Not at all.
It's in good shape.
In regular meetings with yourself, integrating better systems, processes and software, and just dealing with situations head on. It just all seemed a little bit guarded in some areas, which it didn't need to be. We were sort of, I was not embarrassed, but it just seemed like we weren't allowed to tell the rest of the business what sort of money we were
making or
not making.
Yeah.
We do 200 grand a month. Some cases 300 grand in a month would do, which is massive. Yeah. But we ain't got any money. Yeah. But they don't know we're not got any money. We can't tell them that.
They just see the top line.
Well, where are we going? What are we doing? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't do your job. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Now there's a transparency which everyone totally respects. We're in it. This is where we need to. This is where we're going. Yeah. There's going to be some bumps in the road. Yeah. This is the historical stuff. We're still trying the legacy stuff. And don't get me wrong, it can be still frustrating because you will have unbelievable months. But over the course of the year, you're still straightening out what the baggage that's coming with it. So, but yeah, we're in a much better place, thankfully. Cool. Just touch wood, the market is,
stay strong.
It's generous to us.
Yeah.
But as I said, credit to.
But you now have got all the experience to ride different markets, haven't you? You've learned.
Yeah, exactly. And look, there's something said about training now with making us a desirable company to come and work for. The top table from the sales floor is very, very strong. We need that next gen. Yeah. Which is always a challenge. Digital world. AI is coming into it. So got to make the right investment, but be cautious at the same time, right?
And I think AI for recruitment, it's an interesting subject actually. Like I think the people where I'm seeing it used best is where people are using it to make them more efficient. Yeah. Not try and replace necessarily. No. Yes, you should be able to find your candidates a bit quicker. Yeah. You should be able to, use your CRM better.
Oh, we got some stubborn people in our business who are still making money the same way they did in. Yeah. I mean, fair play to them. But that next gen it's a digital world, right? Yeah. And that's what we're doing. That's what we've started to do. We've changed some of the systems and processes. Everyone's sort of bought, into that. And we're just on that next stage now, phase of our
journey. Yeah. So if before we kind of wrap up, a couple of questions, I guess. So if you were to look back over the 20 years, what would you say the key things you would tell people? Don't make these mistakes, whether it be, all right, there's more than one business partner. Yeah. Can you be clear on the rules of engagement and the governance between personal and business? Or would it be something else?
I think it's a bit of a unique situation with our business because to a point we didn't actually do that much wrong. Yeah. From the business perspective, we didn't. Yeah. So there's obviously a bit of personal fallout, right? Which can happen. I think when people are so close. But I think for the business that went from virtually a back bedroom business to nearly a £20 million business, it's just we should have engaged. I think we'd have been a different
Would you have done the acquisition again, or would you have tried to do it yourself organically? Like, are all them things you
I don't know. I probably lent on you, if I'll be honest with you. But I don't know. I've been making the right decisions. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit touch and go. You know, are we doing the right thing? We're doing the right thing, and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to do the risk and reward, isn't it?
Exactly. And I would look at it, and do you know what I think for all of us, our roles are a bit more defined.
Yeah.
We were just doing a bit of everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Just doing a bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? And
you would have been more specific.
exactly, would have been a little more streamlined. But
Keeping each other accountable.
Let's be brutally honest, right? COVID, we had the recession. We come through. We went through COVID.
Yeah.
We had some bad luck.
And you got your own things going on.
Exactly. We had the bad luck with the situation we're in. So it's not all on.
Would you say it's fair to say or not fair to say that you would keep each other more accountable?
Yeah, I think we would. I think everyone would have been up for that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's unknown.
Yeah.
It was defining those roles.
Yeah.
Time management is a killer when you're I get it, when you're trying to run a desk.
Yeah.
But that's what we needed to do.
Yeah.
And look, we spent some bad money.
Yeah.
We spent some awful money along the way.
Yeah.
We have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
but no one gets every decision right.
No, exactly. And we had some highs that we should never have let go. But we were just, like you're just doing the same thing, trying to get a different
result.
Yeah.
So now we're here, we're out the back of it.
Yeah.
The business is trading well again, which is great.
Yeah. It's
solid team.
Yeah.
Like, if we were to sit here in 5 years' time, how have how's your vision changed, or what do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? Where would you be happy at in 5 years?
Yeah, I think we've got desks, we need divisions. Yeah, we've got talented individuals.
Yeah.
I need those guys to realise the opportunity within Solution, right? Because that's what they're committing to. They're committing to me, and they're committing to the business.
Yeah.
They've got objectives, they've got aspirations.
Yeah.
They're probably going to want some securities. Totally get it. But I think it would just be nice to business to move into that digital world. Us still be recognised as a key player in the market. Yeah. With that next level, I think the headcount will naturally increase. It will do. And the model of recruitment's changed. You must have seen it now.
Yeah.
We were like one man band back in the day, as in you could run a desk, do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Clients don't want that.
No.
I can pick stuff off, but it's more of like a maverick. When I'm trying to coach someone, I can't do that.
No, can't teach them.
Because I see things. Yeah.
They need to learn a process.
Yeah. They want candidate pools.
Yeah.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Call these.
Yeah.
They want footprints of stuff that I've left.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking to build. And look, I don't think there's anything. We're not reinventing the wheel.
No.
I think where the business has gone through that transition, right? It feels like we've lost 5 years.
Yeah.
It honestly feels like we've lost 5 years.
Yeah.
But it all the guys have done so well to navigate that.
Yeah.
I think it just needs to now put us on that.
I know one of the things you always say to me is that you kind of want to win, but everyone feel like they're winning on the journey as well. Like everyone win in your business, do it all together.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So I think
exactly right. And I think, and I heard it all before from my MD, and this is one thing I learned, and going back to what I was saying about taking the good bits and bad bits.
Yeah.
We would have been all on the beach by now
if
my old MD had said what he was going to do, because we had a different market.
Yeah.
And we had best of the best.
Yeah.
In a totally different world.
Yeah.
That we would have been,
gone.
And I think I want to put right,
what's happened.
Yeah, and I think I think the business owes that. We owe that to the business. It's been punished along the way, right?
Yeah.
It has been punished.
Yeah.
And I think it deserves better.
It deserves that happy ending.
Well, indeed.
I think, personally, from what I see, I think as we get more experienced or older, energy levels can sometimes dip. But whenever I speak to you and whenever you come in full of energy still. Yeah. And I think
I go bed at 5. I've got in and go straight to bed.
It's working. But I think, I think you'll get there, and I'm excited to see the journey. Yeah. And I really appreciate you coming in.
No, I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys, if you've enjoyed listening to Simon and you want to hear any more podcasts, or you're interested in finding out more, or even want to come on as a guest, please give us a shout from our socials. We'll be sharing some clips and some YouTube links. So please just get involved. Thank you very much.